Hello there and welcome to the Wolves versus Liverpool preview, and it's going to be hopefully a decent game, hopefully a good game. Hopefully Liverpool can build on the momentum that we've got from the RB Leipzig game and also going through to the quarterfinals of the Champions League as well. What we're hoping for here is obviously a good performance and also a win. We don't normally, you don't always demand a win, but wins need to happen in the Premier League for Liverpool. It's great to get where we are in the Champions League right now. That will get tougher. We won't always get teams that play as open as RB Leipzig did. We need to go and show that we've got some consistency in some key areas as well, but also in just the way that we approach and play the game as well. What I'd like us to see is just however we need to get it is to win this game against Wolves. Wolves themselves are a very difficult team. They can cause you so many problems, cause many teams problems, but they can also cause themselves some problems as well. What we're going to look at today is some tweets as well about what Jurgen Klopp has said in his press conference about who might be available, if there's any injury concerns or anything like that as well. Then we'll go and look at the formation prediction from SofaScore and what I would like to see as well, based on our last match as well, which was a good match by Liverpool, let's be honest. And then we'll go into a match prediction and also a score prediction as well. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what your thoughts are ahead of this game. It's on Monday Night Football, I believe it is. Might be the only match of the day. I'm not entirely sure, but we have to wait the entire weekend for Liverpool to play, which sometimes is frustrating, but sometimes it means that you can actually enjoy some of the other games that are going on instead of, how it's been recently where we've been losing games and stuff like that, and you don't want to watch football anymore. You don't want to watch other teams play, no matter who's playing. So, let's get into this one as well. Hope that you guys are having a very good Sunday, and to any of you out there, happy Mother's Day. You are all awesome, and you rock hard. Anyway, let's get into this one. We're going to go straight over to Twitter at the moment, and we're just going to look at a couple of quotes here as well, some that people will find quite important as well. So, we'll start here where it says it starts anyway. Klopp on Firmino's fitness. They have the medical meeting after the press conference. Sorry about that. Everyone else all clear at the moment. Apparently there's a chance that he could feature as well, and that's good to have the option of Firmino as well. Really good to have him hopefully back, but if not, maybe ready for the next game after this, which is Arsenal, I believe, as well. Klopp on Phillips and Kabak partnership. We want consistency we've never had so far. Hopefully they can play a lot of games, which is very good. It's clear that we want consistency in the centre-back department, and the more clarity they get between each other in terms of communication, in terms of ability, what they have to do for each other to work for each other as well, then they will start to breed a little bit more confidence. Getting the clean sheet against RB Leipzig twice in a row, I think it was. I think it was Kabak and Phillips in the previous game. It might have been Henderson in the first leg. I genuinely can't remember right now. But even so, even regardless of any of that, they looked good against RB Leipzig, and we want that to continue. Obviously, we want to see Ben Davies getting a chance as well, but while we want to try and build a little bit of consistency, if not a lot of consistency, got to stick with this partnership for now. Maybe gives away a little bit of what my formation and players that I'm choosing for that role would be in this game, but I see no reason not to change it. I really do. I think that that's a very good move to go with these two guys. Klopp on Ben Davies. He has time to adapt. A lot of players needed time. The most famous is Andy Robertson. It took him half a year. That's how it is. Now, from what I remember about Andy Robertson, was Alberto Moreno, the season that Robertson was bought, Moreno was doing pretty well. Doing a lot better than he'd done for Liverpool in his previous seasons. He was doing quite well. And then Moreno got injured and we had to use Andy Robertson. And some people, even myself, you're a little bit unsure about what you're going to get from Andy Robertson. I didn't pay much attention to him at his old club, I believe. I think it was Hull, if I remember rightly. I didn't pay much attention to Hull, and they got relegated that season. Didn't really know what we were getting. Obviously, what we've got from Robertson, it's fantastic. Now, I'm not turning around and saying that Ben Davies is going to be on the level of Andy Robertson, but you never know. But Klopp, he's done this with quite a few players where it will take them time to either adjust, and become part of the system, be able to be comfortable with the system and the way that we play. I think Fabinho also took quite a while to get his time in the first team as well. And obviously for Fabinho, we've never really looked back since. He's a fantastic player. Maybe something similar could happen with Ben Davies. We just don't really know how that's going to play out at the moment. But while we've got Nat Phillips and Kabak playing, hopefully, everything will be quite nice. As it says, everything here is Firmino has a chance. As it stands right now at 12:45 on Sunday, there are no new injuries, which, as it says right here, it's rare but pleasant words to hear. It really is, because what that should mean is, if we have a look over here, the only current injuries that we should have is to Henderson, Van Dijk, Gomez, and Joel Matip. So, having a look at that as well, which is fantastic to look at, it should also mean, while we talk about Liverpool a little bit more here, just in general, there can't be any excuses anymore, really, going forward. We're missing some big key players, that's absolutely fine, and we've missed a lot of key players this season, throughout the whole season as well. Losing Van Dijk and Gomez and Joel Matip and Jordan Henderson, big blows. But now we've got quite a lot of players back. We don't have our first team centre back pairing, fine, but we've got something that we can work with. The rest of the team is pretty much can be chosen from a first team 11. It's pretty much only the centre back pairing that can't be, and also Jordan Henderson in midfield as well. There can't really be any excuses apart from fatigue and tiredness and such like that, but we should still have the ability to rotate as well as the season comes to the closing stages and the Champions League. We'll get the quarterfinals. Whether we go beyond that, who knows? We'll go through everything like that when we get to it. But there can't really be too many excuses of, well, we're missing this player, we're missing that player, and such like that, because we have options, and we've got some world-class options as well. So we do need to keep that in mind and keep a little bit more, perspective every now and again, that while we've had our troubles this season, right now we're in a pretty good spot when it comes to the team and the squad. Fingers crossed, touch wood, that we don't actually pick up any more, but hey, we'll see how it goes from there. Now we're going to jump over to SofaScore here. Now what I've got up here is the predicted lineup for Wolves versus Liverpool. Now, this isn't mine, and it definitely is going to have some changes in it as well. What I want us to do, pretty much, I'm going to show you mine as well, but mine is built from the RB Leipzig game here, right? This is pretty much, if not exactly the same. I'm pretty sure mine is exactly the same, but that's what I want us to be going with in terms of lineup. Whether we go with the 4-3-3 as a system, who knows? But let's have a look at some of the Wolves players that I'm really wary of. One of them, I believe, is on the bench in this one, and I think his name, oh my god, I've just literally forgotten his name. Nope, can't remember it, but he plays on the left wing as well. I can't remember his name. I think he came from Olympiacos, but I might be wrong. Podence, is it? I don't know if Podence is injured or not. Obviously, the big guy, Raul Jimenez, is out injured as well, but Willian Jose came from Real Sociedad, if I remember rightly. Pretty decent target man, pretty decent striker as well. Maybe not in the league of Jimenez, but still a good outlet for them as well. Pedro Neto is a very dangerous player. Adama Traore, we know what we're getting with Adama Traore. It's going to be blistering pace and trying to get to these areas around here and put in high crosses into the box for the guy in the middle, whether it's Willian Jose or someone else. You've got quality deliverers from the likes of Neves and Moutinho or Moutinho or whoever. Semedo hasn't really lit up the league since he came here. He had a big reputation coming from Barcelona, but if Barcelona were willing to let him go with the sort of, the squad issues that they've had this season, then is there, I don't know. I think he's got quality, and I think he will show quality eventually, but it's just not been happening for him this season a great deal. And they've got a decent back line. Connor Cody as captain, Romain Saiz, I think his name is, and Willy Bolly. And Patricio is a good goalkeeper as well. This is going to be a difficult game. Every single game, I always say it's going to be a difficult game. These guys have got a pretty flexible formation. If they wanted to, they could probably drop into a 4. If they wanted to, they could probably have Romain Saiz go into midfield or whoever it might be. Most likely, if anything, they're going to stay in the 3 here, but they could drop it to a 5 with Otto and Semedo coming back to help out in defensive areas there. They're still going to have people that can provide, people that can be defensively solid as well, but carry the ball forward and release the balls to the wide guys, like in Neto, Traore, or Podence if he's fit, or if he's going to be available, whatever it might be. What they're going to be looking for, and when they want to, they can be a really high-pressure team as well. They can press you into making mistakes, looking into around that midfield sort of area, and then when you've got these guys like Semedo, like Otto, and they can help the guys or become even further outlets, overlapping their wingers or underlapping the wingers, going on the inside, whatever it might be, they can cause problems on a counter-attack as well when you lose the ball. So our guys have to be really, really solid. They have to be really switched on, concentrating all the time, which sounds like basic stuff, but depending on whether we have a lot of possession or not, it could really change how this game goes. I think it's a classic saying, it's almost a cliched saying, but the midfield could really be where this game is won and lost, and that's why we've got to make our selection, team selection and system selection has to be really key and really spot on as well. Now, looking at the system and the selections here, this is what I'm looking at, and this is what I mean by saying I'm pretty much choosing the exact same team that played against RB Leipzig. There may indeed be a couple of changes here. You might see a Curtis Jones instead of a Wijnaldum, or something like that. I don't see anything changing from goalkeeper to the back four. I think that will be exactly how it is on here, or how I would like to see it anyway. Fabinho into midfield. The absolute Rolls Royce of midfielders for Liverpool needs to be in the midfield for us. Really, really does. I've explained out time and time again why he needs to be in there, but I don't think it really needs any explanation, especially not for a Liverpool fan. Everyone knows what Fabinho brings and how much better Thiago looked for having Fabinho next to him against RB Leipzig. It was just night and day. We've got other options in there in midfield as well. Naby Keita could come in and do a role. Oxlade-Chamberlain, possibly not. Seems to be, on the cold side of things at the moment in terms of performances. When he comes off the bench, doesn't make the most impact, if we're being honest. But again, it's an option. And in the front line, other changes could be, like we saw on Twitter before, Firmino could be an option in this game. But for me, another option could be Shaqiri. Maybe not in the number 9 role or the striker role, but could be an option if you wanted to rest either Mane or Salah. But with both of those guys getting goals the other night against RB Leipzig, let's strike while the iron's hot and keep these guys in the team. And I see no reason whatsoever to take Jota out of the team. I really, really don't. It's, Firmino's a great player, but Jota for me just looks like, in terms of goal scoring ability and threat, he would be the more threatening choice over Bobby Firmino. You could see a different change of system in this game. You can do that now. We have the freedom and flexibility to be able to do that now. You could go into what would be my favourite formation, into a 4-2-3-1, have Fabinho and Thiago as your two defensive mids, and then you could have the likes of Firmino, Jota, Salah and Mane, all of them on the pitch at the same time. You could see something like that. I don't know whether we will or not, whether we'll change things up too much. I think we'll probably just go a little bit similar to how we did against Leipzig in the Champions League here. I feel quite confident with someone like Nat Phillips in that defence as well. Nat Phillips has performed brilliantly since he's been called into the team, and I don't think he's really put too much of a foot wrong in any game that he's played. I think there's one game where he might have just had a little bit of an off time, and I can't remember what it was, but generally very, very solid performances, and if anything, he's quite a commanding presence in the defence as well. Really helps out. I think it's helped Kabak settle down a little bit when he's played next to Nat Phillips. It's only been one game, I'm pretty sure, 1 or 2 games at least, but they just looked very, very good. They looked like a nice partnership together, and while obviously it's not going to have the quality of a Van Dijk or anything in there, probably for the rest of the season, it is going to be the end of the season anyway, but I think that these guys really do fill me with quite a bit of confidence as well. Alexander-Arnold looked very good positionally. I think I said that in the RB Leipzig review. Positionally and defensively, he looked a lot better. Quite a lot better than he has done for some periods this season, where he gets caught out quite a bit. And if he can keep that up, then it will help us out a great deal more. He's going to have a tough time. Both of them will. Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold will have a tough time, whether they're coming up against Podence, Neto or Adama Traore. It's going to be a tough game. Whatever side Traore decides to go on, could be the left-hand side for them, and he'll come up against Trent. Could really test the legs and the awareness and the defensive awareness of Trent out. Really could make it a difficult night for either of them. But what fills me with confidence in terms of if they do get these crosses off into our box, and Nat Phillips is there and Kabak is there as well, both of them, Nat Phillips probably a bit more, are quite dominant in the air as well. They like to win the balls in the air, make the jumps, make the necessary, sacrifice of putting themselves on the line to try and get that ball out no matter who's on the end of it. I think that it's positive. I really do. I'm struggling to find anything or anyone that anyone's saying where they don't feel confident or at least happy with Nat Phillips and also now Kabak in there as well. So I'm quite confident in this lineup, and I think it could really do us quite well to combat, like I say, coming up against these guys, whether it's Willian Jose or Pedro Neto, Adama Traore or Podence. They've got some key players. Or Podence has even played in the number 9 position, so you could have 3 very quick forwards as well. That could cause some problems. Takes away the aerial threat, but really puts the pressure on all of the defence to try and track quick runners as well. They have done that before, I'm pretty sure, and I cannot remember for the life of me who it was against. But that could also cause some problems for us as well. The only thing that I would say about Adama Traore, and I really might regret saying this, depending on what happens in the game tomorrow, is that sometimes his finishing lets him down as well. The other guys, Podence, Neto, and stuff like that, they get in front of goal. They're quite clinical. But yeah, I'm still quite confident in our guys in the formation that I put together here. I'm still quite confident that with this type of lineup, and maybe even a 4-2-3-1 or the 4-3-3, I'm quite confident that we can get a good result here, and hopefully, because we're going to need a good result against Wolves regardless anyway, because we've got Arsenal. I think they're playing, it's the North London derby today, later on today. North London derby today. If Arsenal go out there and win that game, then I think they're about 2 points away from us in the table while we sit in 8th. In fact, let's go and have a look at the table just right now. So we're sat in 8th. Highest that we can go is 6th, because Everton lost yesterday. Tottenham are playing today. Depending on whether Tottenham win or lose, whatever, highest we might be able to go is 7th. But it's all building blocks towards maybe the end of the season, seeing what can happen there. That is all it is. It's taking it game by game. It's literally all we can do is take it game by game at the moment. It's all we can do. Making a charge for the top 4 is going to be difficult because we're 8 points away, 8 points adrift from top 4. Let's not look at that right now. We can only look at what's in front of us. Highest that we could go, if somehow like Tottenham and Arsenal finishes in a draw, then fair play, whatever. Then Tottenham would go on to 46 points. We could then move possibly above, but I don't think we could go above Tottenham on goal difference. I don't think that's... they've conceded less than us and scored less than us, but I think it works out that Tottenham would have a better goal difference than us. So yeah, I think if anything we could look at going into 7th, but it's all about progressing, all about building blocks. And like I say, we've got 10 games left of the season, got 30 points to fight for. We've just got to do what we can to get behind the team and fight for whatever we've got left this season. Now, in terms of a result for Liverpool, a good result, fantastic result is a win. A draw doesn't really do anything for us in terms of the league table. It really, really doesn't. Now it's looking about we need to go out there and win. Without putting too much pressure on the players, they'll already have that pressure already themselves. They'll probably be doing it to themselves, whether they're doing it out loud or not. But they really need to be going out and getting the win. Whether it's a 1-0 or you go out there and you put on a clinic, whatever it might be, I think that we absolutely need to be going out and winning. And do I think that we can win the game? Yes, I do think that we can win the game. I really do think that we can win the game. Wolves aren't in the worst form. They've got 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss in their last 5. But still, they can be beaten. It's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a grind. It's going to be it's a much different game to playing against someone like RB Leipzig with that formation that Wolves play as well, where it's almost like a 3-4-3, or it can drop into a 5 at the back as well. You know full well they're going to have between like 7 or 8 people behind the ball and trying to hit us on the counter, which is what we've suffered from the most this season, is getting caught on the counter repeatedly. If we can stop that and be a bit more mature about how we defend and how we attack, then we should be able to win this game. But I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be I think we could dominate the ball. We could dominate the possession, but I don't think it's going to be like a free scoring masterclass or anything like that from Liverpool. I really don't. I'm going for a 1-0 to Liverpool, and it could be one of those where you're clinging onto your seat, just thinking, just get over the line, just get over the line. That is what it could be, but we need to, fingers crossed. All I'm looking for is a win, because I think that's all we can really hope for in this game anyway. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this game, what your thoughts are ahead of it, team selection, all of it. What do you think? Do you agree with anything I've said here, or do you disagree with any of it? Let me know it in the comments below. Thank you ever so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do like it and subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you ever so much for watching. Do take care of yourselves. Have a great Sunday, and I'll catch you later.